Welcome to the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I am Tristan Law. Thanks so much for joining us today. There's a rumor going around about Max, the streaming platform Max becoming the new streaming partner for AEW, and we're going to look at if the rumors are true. Today, we are going to take an in-depth look at AEW and Max working together. Could this be a game-changing move that elevates AEW to new heights, or is it just another rumor? We're going to look at the buzz and what it can mean for the future of pro wrestling. But before we dive into today's episodes, I've got a question for you. What if AEW joined forces with Max? Can you imagine the possibilities and impact that it could have on the wrestling world? Well, let's take a look at AEW's current streaming partners. Right now, AEW is streaming primarily their pay-per-views and such with Thriller TV. In case you don't know, Thriller TV was formerly Fight TV. They've been crucial for AEW's international reach because starting with AEW's first event, Double or Nothing, in 2019, that's the people that hosted it. That's how it got on pay-per-view. Thriller TV, or Fight TV, this platform has been essential in distributing AEW's major pay-per-views like All Out, Full Gear internationally, and it contributes to the rapid growth of AEW. On Thriller TV, you also have the ability to get AEW Plus. That's only for international people. We never get all the good stuff here in America, but launched in 2019, the AEW Plus service offers ad-free weekly episodes of Dynamite, and it's really popular among international fans that can't get AEW. So pretty much if you got an internet connection, you're going to be able to get AEW because of AEW Plus through Thriller, formerly Fight TV. Now, you also got Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report is one of the other streaming partners for AEW. AEW's been working with Bleacher Report since, Double or Nothing in 2019? Bleacher Report is a part of the media, the Warner Media Distribution Group. Now, I need you to hold on to that. Keep that underneath your hat for a second. We're going to really look further into that. This partnership, though, does tie into AEW's broader relationship, the relationship with Bleacher Report. They also broadcast AEW Dynamite on TNT and TBS. So Warner Brothers Media, they own Bleacher Report. They own TNT, they own TBS, and they also own Max. Some of the challenges, though, while pivotal, the service Bleacher Report has faced technical issues, notably during Revolution 2021, and it prompted concerns about streaming reliability. But you know what? It's 2024, and I think that we've come a long way from that. One of the things that I did not know until I started doing research on this episode is that you can get AEW pay-per-views on YouTube. I'm a huge YouTube head. You see, my head is huge, and we are on YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube. YouTube has been huge for AEW. It's been instrumental in building the AEW fan base. They offer free content like AEW Dark, which debuted in 2019, and it showcases a lot of emerging talent. Beyond matches, though, AEW's YouTube channel, it hosts promos, interviews, and behind-the-scene content, which keeps fans engaged with their diverse offering. AEW was so new at the time that YouTube was probably the best thing that they can do. Granted, today they don't have as much followers as WWE or other organizations on YouTube, but they will get there. They will get there. Pay-per-view access. AEW has expanded its reach by making pay-per-view events available for purchase on YouTube. They cater to viewers who prefer the platform's user-friendly, interface. I'm a huge YouTube head, like I said. Now I'm going to start, when it's time for me to purchase my next AEW pay-per-view, because I'm eventually going to have to do it, because everybody's like, you need to start talking more about AEW. So we're going to go to YouTube, because YouTube is just easy to use. Everybody's familiar with YouTube. It's not hard to use. It's pretty simple. Now let's look a little bit further into TNT, TBS, which is a part of the Warner Media. That's where AEW gets their prime time exposure. AEW made their Dynamite debut, or their debut with Dynamite on TNT in 2019. Get it? Dynamite, TNT. That marked a significant return for pro wrestling to the network since WCW Nitro ended in 2001. And it gave AEW that primetime visibility, which is very important. And I think that's the issue with NWA right now and Impact Wrestling, or TNA Wrestling, I mean, is that they don't have enough exposure when it comes to that primetime visibility. And WWE has hit the nail on the head, and AEW sure has replicated what has worked for many big companies in the past, and now they're here. Looking at TNT and TBS, they got that live sports appeal. The success of Dynamite on TNT has led to the launch of AEW Rampage in 2021, further solidifying AEW's presence on Warner Media platform. It looks like, if you ask me, AEW and Warner Brothers Media Distribution, they're in bed for a very, very long time. But what is Max? We're going to look at that. Max is a leading streaming platform that offers a vast library, including movies, TV shows, and exclusive originals. Me doing a little bit of poking around on there, I think they're really trying to dabble into live sports. Max launched in 2020 as HBO Max, and then it was rebranded to Max to expand beyond HBO's premium content. Part of Warner Brothers Discovery family, that's what Max is, along with other brands like we talked about, like Bleacher Report, making it a major player in entertainment and sports streaming. Max offers a comprehensive entertainment experience from the latest HBO series to classic Warner Brothers films. Let me tell you this. Netflix was created to compete with HBO. Now HBO changed their name to Max and is trying to be like Netflix. Boom, mic drop. WWE's going to Netflix in 2025. I think it's only a great move for AEW to go to Max. Max is the number 2. AEW is the number 2. There are people that subscribe to Max that probably aren't wrestling fans, but they might take it in as it comes in, because it'll now be available on Max. Will it be a part of the standalone subscription? We're going to look into that. But how do you feel that this potential partnership with Max compares to AEW's previous streaming arrangements? Do you think it's a step up, or do you think it could present new challenges? Before we continue, if you are enjoying this deep dive surrounding AEW, subscribe. I see it as a compliment on my work. When you subscribe, you'll be able to not miss out on future episodes where I break down the biggest topics in pro wrestling and bring you some of the coolest interviews. And we're always live Tuesdays and Fridays at noon right here on YouTube. So let's look at the rumor. Where did the rumor come from? The origins of the rumor of AEW partnering with Max originated from reports and speculation within the wrestling community and media. Yep, the dirt sheets. The dirt sheets is the reason why everybody is going so crazy over is AEW going to Max? Fair. Also, the existing relationship between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery, it only fueled it as well too, because Warner Brothers Discovery owns both TNT, TBS, and Max. We talked about that already. There's also synergy. There's a natural synergy between AEW and Warner Brothers, Warner Media Brothers networks in the streaming capabilities of Max. AEW needs to grow, and Max wants to grow, so that'd be a perfect way for them to work together and grow together. As of right now, though, I just want to say this is all just a rumor. Nobody has said that AEW is going to be streaming with Max. It's just a rumor. It's just rumor and innuendo. But Tony Khan didn't really do too good of a job, making us believe that. So, look, Tony Khan was recently spotted in interviews wearing a Max branded hat, and that's Tony Khan right there in that Max branded hat. So now you're looking at it and you're like, okay, well, it's just a hat, right? To Tony Khan, it's just a hat. That's what he's saying. Let me tell you what Tony Khan said about this hat. Tony Khan said, I was given this hat and it's a lovely hat. And I think that it's a wonderful streaming service talking about Max, and this hat was gifted to me in Paris as a part of a great backpack of stuff I had in my hotel room when I got there for the Olympics. Okay, great. So Tony Khan, he mentioned spending time with Warner Brothers Discovery WBD CEO David Kozlov in Paris, which aligns with the reports of ongoing media rights and regulations. I found another picture of Tony Khan in a hat, and I want to show you guys that picture. I'm just sitting here like, look, bro, like, yo, Tony Khan, I'm sure Tony Khan is a nice guy, but with the amount of money that Tony Khan got, like, that hat looks like Tony Khan literally just pulled it out of a bag and put it on his head. Like, for me, it's a little bit too wrinkled for me, and, I couldn't do it if I was Tony Khan, but you know what? Tony Khan is Tony Khan. So, according to reports from Fightful, Warner Brothers Discovery recently made a new offer to AEW following Khan's meeting with Kozlov. Although there's still some red tape to work through, and I think some of the red tape has to do with like international streaming rights and stuff like that. But will AEW come to Max? I don't know. We just got to keep looking at it. The hat and Khan's latest comments, along with the ongoing negotiations, have further fueled speculation about AEW's future with Max. Let's look at Tony Khan again in that hat. Okay. Yep, it's just a hat. You got a Max hat on, bro. It's just a hat. Right, just a hat. Okay. So let's look at some of the potential content and market impact. For right now, I think that AEW, they're probably going to keep Dynamite on television, right? And they're going to keep it on TNT because that's what works for them right now. They want to keep it on TBS. All their programming is still going to be traditional TV. However, they're not going to have a place to where they can stream their pay-per-views in the United States. I think that Max should be the exclusive streaming partner in the United States, and what they should do is start uploading documentaries and stuff like that. One of the things that I always say about WWE is that they have a stellar documentary team. And I think that AEW, I'm sure they got the money and they can go ahead and get an outstanding documentary team as well too. Just a little behind the scenes life. They used to have a couple shows with Cody Rhodes and Being the Elite. Being the Elite was on YouTube, but imagine if that was the show now that was on Max. They can upload that whole entire library on Max. They can upload all of AEW Dynamite, Dark, and all the other older episodes of television on Max. But how much is it going to cost? So right now you can purchase Max for like $9.99. That's at like the lowest level. But I don't think that AEW is going to be putting on pay-per-views for $50, right? Here's why I don't think so. Because WWE has spoiled a lot of us Americans to no longer want to spend more than $10 for a pay-per-view, okay? I feel that for the $10 that I throw away to Peacock every single month, because I'm in America, I don't get the ability to get WWE Network. I feel for the $10 that I spend, I get way than my money's worth. Okay, for $50, it's hard for me to open up the wallet and hand over that $50 bill for an AEW pay-per-view. Honestly, I'm not that big of an AEW fan, right? However, I'm a pro wrestling fan. I would subscribe to Max for $10 a month to go ahead and watch AEW. But however, if AEW is going to be putting on their premium live events, Max has a sports add-on package for $9.99. And I think that would be the ideal platform for me to pay an additional $9.99 per month on top of Max to get access to all the AEW pay-per-views. I promise you, I would watch more AEW, I would watch more Dynamite, I would watch more Rampage, I would watch more Collision, just so I can be in tune for when the pay-per-view comes up. I don't hate AEW. It's just not my style of wrestling. However, I will watch wrestling. Sometimes I watch TNA. Sometimes I watch New Japan. But primarily, I'm a WWE guy because I grew up in New York City. And that's what we watch. We grew up on the WWF. By AEW going to Max, it's the accessibility is increased. This could make content way more reachable for people that have cut the cord. It's a little bit too much for them to pay for cable. They don't want to pay for Sling. They don't want to pay for YouTube TV. They just like having their little streaming platforms to watch what they watch. Okay, I think that's going to be a lot more beneficial for people. They're going to be able to tap into a lot more people at one time by just going to Max, especially if they do their pay-per-views. But I think eventually in the long run, they should be looking to put their content like Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage on Max. I know that traditional TV is dying. Like I said before, Netflix was invented to compete with HBO. Now HBO is trying to be like Netflix. That Netflix is not just the only, HBO and Max and Cinemax and NBC, they're not the only people that are doing that. It's everybody across the region. You need to get with the streaming program or you're going to get left behind. You want to get left behind? Stay on traditional TV. You're going to be the Blockbuster of streaming. Switch over, okay? If you don't switch over to streaming, you're going to be left behind. I got a comment in the chat. Let's see what we said. We got Devon Williams. You don't love pro wrestling? Bro, I love pro wrestling. Thank you very much for your comment. I love pro wrestling. When I always talk about AEW and WWE, the comparison that I make is that WWE is sports entertainment and AEW is pro wrestling. AEW does pro wrestling really well. They don't do sports entertainment well. WWE does sports entertainment extremely well. They got the smoke, the fog, they got everything else that's going on. And AEW like, hey, look, let's just give you the matches. They tap into a different demographic. They tap into a demographic that were probably left behind from WCW that didn't want hokey wrestling. They didn't want to like John Cena. They didn't want Randy Orton forced down their throats. Those were the people that I think thrive from watching AEW. Do I love pro wrestling? As a whole, I love pro wrestling. I was a pro wrestler. I'm a semi-retired independent pro wrestler. I love wrestling. I love a good wrestling match. But you know what? AEW just doesn't sing to me. Will I watch it if it's on Max? 100%. They say, reports have said that a lot of Max's subscriber base, particularly those interested in sports, they like the add-on package. And I think that, again, Max is going to bring a lot more new fans who are not interested in pro wrestling over to pro wrestling, especially if AEW is a part of that streaming package. Looking at the numbers when it comes to Max and Netflix, because obviously I think Max and Netflix are competing. Max has 77 million subscribers while Netflix has 278 million. I just want to put that into context for you. Max's 77 million subscribers combined, it equals the populations of U.S. major cities like New York, Chicago, L.A., and Houston all together at one, right? Now, when you look at Netflix, Netflix has the 278 million subscribers combined. Those look at mega cities on Earth like New York City, Tokyo, Mexico City, and Sao Paulo. There are so many more eyes that are going to be on Netflix that, like I said in the previous episode, what WWE is going to look like when it gets to Netflix, everybody is going to be watching. But here are the challenges or the risks with AEW going to Max. There's more content that is on Max. There's movies, there's other live events, there are TV shows that people want to binge watch. Now you expect the people that are already on Max to spend the time to watch AEW? It's possible. One of the things about being on demand that I love about being here on YouTube is that I don't feel that I'm in competition with any other YouTuber. What I feel that is, since I'm on demand, you can take me whenever you want, and whenever you don't want me, you don't take me. You just take me later on. That's one of the things that I like about being on YouTube. No competition. I don't compete with any YouTuber. Watch me first and watch them second. Watch them second and watch me first. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Now, the issue with going to Max, though, is that years ago, people started cutting the cord. They want to get rid of cable. Cable's too expensive. Still too expensive. So now what everybody started doing was they started adopting streaming services. Now it looks like our streaming services cost a lot more than our previous cable bills. But are we getting more bang for our buck? I think so, because we get a lot more to watch. But a lot of people just don't have that disposable income to pay for HBO, to pay for Max, to pay for Peacock, to pay for Hulu, to pay for Apple TV, and it goes on and on and on. I just don't think people have the money for that. I think that reliability and streaming issues could be a problem as well too, because there's going to be a lot of people watching AEW pay-per-views. If AEW has their pay-per-views on Max, there's going to be a lot of people watching AEW Dynamite and stuff like that. So I hope that they've stressed their network, the servers before they even tried. Given the crowded streaming market, though, here's a question for you. Given the crowded streaming market, do you think that AEW can stand out if they move to Max? What challenges do you foresee? Put that in the chat. So on Threads, I positioned everybody with the question, hey, look, AEW's possibly going to be working with Max. Max is going to be the new streaming partner. And let's see what people said on Threads. You can always follow me at Threads, at The Real Big Tris. Here's some of the comments. Let's see what we got. I got one from my man, Head of the Table 2324. He said, it's not for a sure thing, but he's heard about it. And when it comes to AEW and TK, there's smoke where there is fire. Thanks so much for your comment, Head of the Table. Look forward to hanging out with you more on Threads. I agree. I don't think that Tony Khan just says things just to say things. I think that, we were abused by Tony Khan in the previous years when Tony Khan was saying things like, oh, we got a huge announcement. A huge announcement is like, nothing. And you're going to be able to buy tickets to this event. Where there's smoke, hopefully, I think Tony Khan's learned his lesson. So now when he makes an announcement, the announcement's going to be something true. Thanks for your comment. Look at another comment from D._Major Music. He said, I think this might be a good move to get more fans interested that normally don't buy the AEW pay-per-views because of the $50 price tag. Thanks so much for your comment, D._Major Music. I was on this podcast a couple weeks ago to search his name on our YouTube. I 100% agree. I have $50 to spend, but I'm not spending $50 on an AEW pay-per-view. Why am I not spending $50 on an AEW pay-per-view? I'm not saying that AEW is inferior. I'm not saying that by any means at all. It's just not my cup of tea. However, if I was able to watch their pay-per-views for a more economic price, I would probably be much more of a bigger fan. I want to go to an AEW event, but if an AEW event and a WWE event was in town at the same time and I had enough money and the time and everything to go, I'm going to go to the WWE event. Look at another comment from AriXVS6. They should have been on Max since last year. It's more options for consumers. It's a good thing. Thank you so much for your comment. I agree. I think being able to be watched by more people is it's definitely a good thing. Being able to get that market penetration, right? Being able to get more eyes in front of people, it's always a good thing. I got one more comment we're going to look at here from The Real Jover 24. I asked on Threads, what do you feel about the AEW working with Max and Max being the new streaming partner? He kept it real simple. He said, great move. Great move. Thank you so much for your comment. The Real Jover 24. You can always interact with me on Threads at The Real Big Tris. That's what we do there. But here's my overall take on AEW and Max working together. I think it's good for business. I think it's good for the I would consider myself a casual fan. So I think it'd be great for the casual fans if I can get AEW in another place and not have to spend $50. I'm not running over to YouTube to watch AEW videos. I don't want my algorithm messed up like that. I watch other things on YouTube. But if it's on Max, I'll definitely pay the money for Max and I'll go in there and I'll watch it. I think that it is going to make other pro wrestling companies have to step their game up. And what I mean that, I'm talking about WWE is already going to Netflix. If AEW goes to Max, that's going to leave Impact Wrestling, and that's going to leave NWA. I think at that time, maybe NWA might want to go to Paramount, or NWA and Impact, maybe they want to go to Paramount, maybe they want to go to Hulu Plus, maybe Apple TV. Apple TV is struggling, right? They have a really good platform. They have really good shows. But now, if you got more people into Apple TV, they would have a reason to have to subscribe now, or to have to look around because they're getting pro wrestling. So I think overall, AEW and Max sleeping in the same bed together, I think it's going to be fantastic for business. The credibility on the rumor, it's just a rumor right now. You know, we saw Tony Khan with a hat, and the hat didn't really, mean much, with Tony Khan in the hat. Here's Tony Khan in his hat. It didn't really mean much. So, he downplayed it as it was nothing. The content that AEW might offer on Max, hopefully it's the pay-per-views. Hopefully it's not $50. Hopefully down the road it's Dynamite, it's Collision, and Rampage. This would definitely impact the audience of pro wrestling. You would definitely get more people who don't watch pro wrestling. But the only challenge that I see is definitely the overcrowded streaming market where people have to find more money to pay for, more streaming services. That's my take on AEW going to Max. And this might just be the tip of the iceberg. But in my next episode, I'm going to have an interview with Dylan Quinn. It's going to be live. It's going to be Friday. He's a referee turned promoter and the owner of Phantom 6 Wrestling. That episode is this Friday, live at noon, right here on YouTube. You don't want to miss it. I want you to go ahead and check out the playlist. Watch some more videos on Tristan Law, on the Tristan Law Show here on YouTube. I appreciate you hanging out. Watch more videos. And today's Tuesday, so that means I'll see you Friday at noon. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I'm Tristan Law.